The story opens with a young Abby and her sister Law fishing alongside their father. Abby carries a bucket of fish away and unexpectedly encounters a boy with an eye patch. As a car approaches, the boy urges her to stay quiet before making a run for it. Unfortunately, a man and a woman step out of the vehicle, capture him, and force him into their trunk. The woman repeatedly addresses the man as Geary. Shocked, Abby drops her fish as the pair drives off with the boy. Later, while Abby is supposed to pose for a family photo, her mind drifts back to the disturbing scene she just witnessed. Suddenly, she notices the same car again, the man inside locking eyes with her. Years pass and Abby, now an adult, returns to her hometown with her sister. They're there to settle their late mother's will. Their mom left them ownership of the Rainbow Inn, which is up for sale. Abby, however, wants to preserve her mother's legacy by keeping the inn alive, while Law wants no part in it and storms off. Eventually, Abby takes over the inn, located near Niagara Falls, though the place struggles to attract guests. One evening, Abby meets a man named Singh at a bar. He laments how dull the town feels, but she reassures him it's only because it's the off-season. Their chemistry builds and they head to the Rainbow Suite. Just before things escalate, Abby reveals she's never been with anyone. Singh grows uncomfortable and leaves. Not long after, a man named Charlie shows up at the inn with flowers in memory of Abby's mother. He expresses interest in buying the motel to turn it into a tourist attraction. That night, Abby flips through old Polaroids, stumbling upon photos from the day of the abduction, including images of the same suspicious car. The following day, Abby returns to the spot where it all happened. There, she meets Walter, a diver who searches the water for lost treasures like wedding rings. Though unlucky that day, he's warm and chatty, sharing that he also hosts a history podcast about Niagara Falls. Later, Abby visits her sister at the casino where Law works in the surveillance room. Abby recalls how, as kids, she constantly spoke about the one-eyed boy, but Law brushes her off, too busy with work. Abby then convinces her brother-in-law, Marcus, to drive her to the police station. To her surprise, Singh, the man she met at the bar, is actually a cop. She tells him she wants to file a report for a kidnapping she witnessed back in 1994 when she was just a child. Abby hands Singh the photographs she uncovered, hoping he'll take her seriously, but Singh, still a rookie cop, hesitates. He tries to dismiss her, not wanting to get involved, though Marcus insists he at least check. Singh runs a quick search, but comes back saying there are no open or cold cases that match her story. Marcus questions Abby, wondering if this is just another one of her wild tales, which hurts her deeply. Determined, Abby heads to the library to investigate on her own. There, she learns that the son of a well-known local performer went missing around the same time as the incident she witnessed. She prints an old newspaper article and later watches a video about the performer, the magnificent Mulan, famous for using a live tiger in his act. In the footage, Abby notices something odd, a woman sitting behind Mr. Mulan who seems strangely familiar. Later, Abby meets up with Charlie Lake again. He shares his idea of transforming the motel into a glow-in-the-dark paintball arena. Since she risks losing the inn if it's sold, Abby even considers working for him. On the drive, she brings up the Mulan billboard. Charlie reveals that Mulan's son, Alex, was later found dead in the gorge, ruled a suicide. He admits he knew Alex and that the family eventually left town, moving their act across Niagara Falls to the US. Back at the inn, Law visits Abby. For the first time, Law admits she does remember the boy with the eye patch being kidnapped. Still, she reminds Abby of all the tall tales she used to tell about knowing famous people, casting doubt again. Abby pushes forward, showing her sister the family photo taken just 4 days before Alex's body was found, the video of the mysterious woman, and a picture of a similar-looking woman by the car from that day. Digging further, the sisters discover the Bell family, known for their daredevil stunts. To their surprise, the friendly diver Abby met earlier, Walter, is actually Walter Bell. Intrigued, they track him down at the diner where he records his Niagara Falls history podcast. Abby finally opens up to him, confessing that she was a witness to Alex Mulan's abduction. Walter cryptically suggests they meet somewhere private later to discuss things further. In the meantime, Abby and Law reflect on the past, particularly Abby's troubled time in Toronto. Abby confesses that she had been involved with a man named Daniel, during which her mental health deteriorated. She fell into a pattern of compulsive lying and eventually had to commit herself to an institution. Not long after that, their mother suffered a fatal heart attack. When Abby finally meets with Walter again, she lays everything out for him. Walter reveals that after Alex's death, he discovered a bloody cap and a shoe while diving. He believes Charlie Lake had been exploiting Alex, suggesting it wasn't an isolated incident. According to Walter, another boy, Donnie Mason, also suffered a similar fate. Abby later listens to Walter's podcast, where he boldly accuses Charlie of being a predator and insists Donnie's death in the gorge was linked to him as well. Determined to dig deeper, Abby meets Charlie under the pretense of finalizing the motel sale. They sign papers, but Abby uses the opportunity to snoop through the photos on his wall. Charlie soon realizes she has ulterior motives and warns her against listening to the town's conspiracy theorists, claiming Walter doesn't have the full story. That night, while reviewing credits on an old video, Abby spots the name Bev Moore. Just then, Charlie shows up at her window, furious. Apparently, the pen they used to sign the contract had invisible ink, making the agreement void. Furious at being tricked, he warns her to stay in line. Abby manages to shake him off by ducking into an eerie, abandoned house. Soon after, police officers visit her, clearly under Charlie's influence, and caution her against trespassing on his property. It's obvious Charlie has the local authorities on his side. The next day, Abby confides in Law. She's learned that Bev Moore was banned from the casino, only to win the lottery a year after Alex's disappearance. Around the same time, Bev's husband was left paralyzed. Seeing an opening, Abby pretends to be a casino employee and calls Bev, fabricating a story that her ban was improper. To sweeten the lie, she offers Bev a free stay at the Rainbow Inn and casino credit. Bev accepts. When the day arrives, Bev checks into the inn. Abby discreetly copies her license before Bev returns to her van to care for a man in a wheelchair, her husband. The following day, Abby carefully watches Bev's movements. When Bev leaves her room, Abby sneaks inside and is stunned to find the paralyzed man locked inside a closet, shackled. The man is confused, asking who she is. Abby pretends to be a police officer and begins untying him. She questions him about Alex, and the man explains that Alex was only photographed, his scars documented, but insists Charlie wasn't involved. He says he once tried to help Alex but was stopped by his own wife before he could intervene. Before Abby can learn more, Bev suddenly returns in a fury. Abby hides inside the same closet. Bev drags her husband out, realizing the casino offer had been a trick. As Bev wheels her husband away, the old man locks eyes with Abby, silently pleading. The following day, Randy informs Abby that Charlie is officially taking over the inn. Despite the invisible ink trick, the contract she had him sign is still legally binding. Frustrated, Abby meets Walter and shares her latest theory. She suspects Alex was exploited in the Mulan family's Tiger Act. According to her, Bev and Jerry had taken incriminating photos of Alex to blackmail the Mulans for money. They returned Alex to the family, but soon after, the boy turned up dead. Abby insists Charlie Lake had no part in this, but Walter refuses to believe her, warning that she doesn't understand just how dangerous the Lake family truly is. That night, Abby discovers she's been locked out of her own inn, now under Charlie's ownership. Determined to get answers, she starts digging online, researching tigers and scars. Armed with her sister's passport, she crosses the border to attend one of the Mulan family's shows. After the performance, Abby goes to their meet and greet, confronting them directly. She hands them Polaroids of Alex's scars, demanding they sign them to Alex's name. Her real intention, however, is to force them into a conversation, and she pressures them to meet her across the street at a diner. When the Mulans finally arrive, they immediately assume Bev sent Abby to extort them, but Abby makes it clear she isn't after money, she only wants the truth. The Mulans, however, insist that it was Charlie Lake who took their son and claim he was working with the police at the time. Still, their statements contradict one another, leaving Abby even more unsettled. To top it off, they perform a chilling magic trick with the Polaroid burning it before her eyes, only for it to reappear intact moments later. The Mulans never fully open up to Abby, refusing to trust her. On her return to Canada, the border authorities discover she had crossed illegally using her sister's passport. She's scolded both by the police and by Law. It's then revealed that Abby's previous breakdown wasn't about a man at all. She had gone to the US and faked retrograde amnesia. Their mother had to bail her out by putting up the inn as collateral, only to suffer a fatal heart attack not long after. Abby tries to convince Law that the Mulans are involved and that she isn't lying this time, but no one believes her. Later, Abby watches an old VHS tape that shows Alex Mulan with Charlie, leaving the audience unsure if Abby's suspicions are genuine or if her mind is creating connections that aren't really there. Using Bev's license, Abby tracks down her home and confronts Jerry, who is alone watching TV. Startled, Jerry listens as Abby presents him with the photos her mother had taken on the day of the abduction. Not long after, the police raid Bev's house. Evidence is uncovered that implicates Charlie Lake, and Bev is arrested as well for abusing her husband. The case makes headlines, and for the first time, Law realizes Abby hadn't been delusional. Her suspicions were real. Eventually, Abby is shown working the front desk at a hotel. One day, a man wearing an eye patch checks in. When Abby asks for his ID, he casually mentions it's not his first visit to Niagara Falls. He studies the framed picture of Charlie and tells Abby that Charlie wasn't lying. He had actually saved Alex's life. The film closes on the revelation that the man with the eye patch is indeed Alex, suggesting that Charlie may have protected him from the Molans all along.